I wanted to talk to you today. By way of introduction, I'm Eric Johnson, a veterinarian in Marietta, and I have a specialty in fish health. And this is an installment on the koi beginner kind of video series, basically, that I'm doing. And I wanted to talk to you a little bit about a thing called constant water replacement, or drip irrigation water changes. The idea with drip irrigation water changes is that you are replacing water constantly. It's a very, very simple concept, and I think sometimes the best ones in fish medicine are the simple ones. Let me explain. There's a very obsolete old method of water changes where you would identify water quality problems like high nitrates, algae, deficiencies in water clarity and that sort of thing, and you'd go, okay, I need to replace some water. So folks would drain the ponds down a little bit and then replace it with brand new water. Well, there's lots of problems with that. When you're draining the pond and refilling it, the fish are running around like something's wrong. They experience brand new water quality when you mix the old stuff and the new stuff together. You have to add chemicals like dechlorinator and all that to the water, and it's just it's unnecessarily laborious. So what about just trickling a little bit of water into the pond all the time, having it overflow away? If your pond is ready to handle rain and runoff from rain, like if your pond gets rain in it and it has a way of dealing with that extra water, it's ready for drip irrigation water change. So I'm going to simplify 4 things on how to get started with a drip irrigation water change. Step number 1, buy a drip irrigation system. Now, here's how you do that. Go to Home Depot. And when you go into Home Depot, you ask the guy where drip irrigation systems are. Drip. Because if you just ask where irrigation systems are, he's going to show you rainbird systems that come off a 3/4 inch water line. You want drip irrigation system, which comes off a 1/8 inch line. That is as thin as I can't show you. That is as thin as an extension cord, only it's black. Now, at Home Depot, they have all the parts for a drip irrigation system, so you can make your own. Or they have a kit from Rainbird that has everything in it that you need, and it's like 27 bucks. Then, right next to that, and I don't know why they do this, there's a white box with kind of pink lettering on it. It's a cheaper drip irrigation kit. It doesn't have much in it, but it's perfectly enough for this application for your pond. And it's $7 or something, $12, whatever. So you want a cheap drip irrigation kit. It attaches to your hose bib. It runs over to your pond with an 1/8 inch line that you can vary, and then it goes into what they call emitters or limiters. Those just allow a certain amount of water to go into your pond. Let's talk about that. If your pond is 1,000 gallons, you're going to want the water to run into your pond at a rate of 1 gallon per hour. If your pond is 2,000 gallons, you're going to want 2 gallons an hour. And if your pond is 3,000 gallons, you're going to want 3 gallons of water an hour. 4,000, 4 gallons an hour. The concept there is when you're done at the end of the week running that 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, you've run 15% of a water change. Now, really only 10% of that's a water change. The other 5% is replacement of evaporative losses. When water evaporates, you're just replacing that with the 5%, and then the other 10% is brand new water. So you're going to replace 15% per week. That's going to cut down almost all of your nitrate problems that contribute to algae growth, while leaving enough to grow plants if you want to. It's going to decrease hazes, decrease bacterial counts, and the chlorine or chloramine in that doesn't matter at all. Here's the reason. When you're replacing water at a rate of 10% per week, on any given day, the new water at any given hour, the new water only represents about 1/10 of 1% of your water. At that rate, the chlorine and chloramine are not measurable going into the pond. So you never have a chlorine-chloramine issue when you're replacing at that low rate. So one more time. 1,000 gallons gets a gallon an hour. 2,000 gallons, 2 gallons an hour. 3,000 gallons, 3 gallons an hour. Through a drip irrigation system with an emitter that sets the gallons per hour. Now, one more thing on the emitters. Let's say that you need 4 gallons an hour. They don't make an emitter that does that. There isn't one. They go to 2 gallons an hour tops. So what if you needed 4 gallons an hour? Well, what you do is you cut the end of the irrigation line, put a T in it, and come off to 2 lines. Then those 2 lines each get a 2 gallon per hour limiter. That's 4 gallons an hour. And you go, well, you can't just keep splitting the line and get all this gallons per hour that you want. And it's true past a point. You could probably get 9 to 15, depending on your water pressure. You could probably get 9 to 15 gallons an hour through a line. So you can split it as many times as you want and put emitters on it until you get up to about that amount. So, but that's the way you get 4 gallons per hour, is to just split the line and put 2 of the 2 limiters on there. So that's kind of what you buy is an inexpensive drip irrigation system. You hook it up to your hose bib and you run it at the rates we talked about all the time, 24 hours a day, and that will help control hazes, bacterial counts, algae, nitrates, and other toxins. Let me toss out one other thing. When you're controlling algae on the bottom of your pond, the green carpet algae, the best treatment by far is leave some of it because it's healthy. It has phyllodina and a variety of other things in that algae, and it also is slippery and it keeps the fish from rubbing themselves too much. So leave some of it, but let a plecostomus take the rest. There's articles on plecostomus at drjohnson.com and koivet.com. Plecostomus are very inexpensive. Here's how many you need. For a 1,000-gallon pond, you need 1 subadult plecostomus. For a 2,000-gallon pond, you need 2 subadult plecostomus. For 3,000 gallons, 3 subadult plecostomus. It's all very simple calculations. So that's algae control. That's all for today, mostly just talking about constant water replacement, water changes, so that you don't have to do that obsolete drain, fill, chemical, water temperature changes, pH disruption, and all that other stuff. You just constantly trickle a little bit of water in there all the time. In a future installment of Koi Beginner, I'll be talking to you about how to lagoon water. A lot of people have really terrible water coming in, especially down in Florida, because it comes out of peat bogs. And they want to be able to treat the water for just a little bit before it goes into the pond. There's a simple way to do that, and it uses a drip irrigation system going into a veggie filter. And we'll talk about that a little bit. It's all gravity fed, and we'll talk about that in another installment. But so for now, very seriously consider abandoning drain and fill water changes. Go with constant replacement at the calculated doses, and we will look for good results with that. And leave algae alone. It's good. These videos have a tendency to truncate. In other words, they get cut off early. So what I'm going to do is just leave the video running, and we'll see where it truncates. And then, because you never know. It's not exactly my favorite song. We'll see where it truncates. You probably won't see any of this. Actually, it's probably already truncated, and we missed half the value of the video. What's going on with my music? Oh. I'll leave it with you. Thanks for tuning in.